Increasing the value of your storage facility on a budget. Most storage owners think they need a massive budget to increase their property value, but that's just not true. You can boost the valuation of your property in a short timeline with a few focused upgrades that buyers immediately notice. And these upgrades can mean the difference between an average sale and a life-changing one. So today I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. By the end of this video, you'll know the highest impact steps to increase the value of your self-storage facility on a budget. You're going to learn what buyers look for, what actually moves the needle, and how to position your property to sell it at a higher value, even if you're working on a tight timeline. So when you're preparing to sell, it's not about making the property look fancy. It's about increasing the net operating income and reducing the buyer's uncertainty. This is what ultimately drives valuation, the net operating income. And the clearer the books and clearer the operations, the more confident the buyer is about the cash flow and the higher the offer. So when most owners are looking to sell, they don't do anything except make a few aesthetic improvements of the property. They overspend on cosmetic improvements that don't increase the net operating income. These approaches leave value on the table. There's a smarter, leaner path that works to drive value to your property. So here are the common traps that property owners quietly kill the value of their sales price. First one is sloppy collections. Second is under market rents that have been left untouched. Third, poor visibility from the street or from the highway. Fourth, no signage or outdated signage. Fifth, weak management systems. Sixth, broken gates, dead lights, neglected pavement. All these details put doubt in the buyer's mind, and as doubt increases in the buyer, the lower the sales price is. When I own my storage facilities and I want to sell them fast for top dollar, this is exactly what I do. First, tighten up the collections and automate the payments. Buyers ultimately care about predictable income. The auto pay builds it. If you can set up your tenants on automatic payments, this creates a consistent stream of income. And buyers love this because the small, steady increases in revenue and the consistency is what drives certainty and drives value. Number two is raise rents gradually to meet the market rate. Small, steady increases create strong revenue without scaring the tenants. $10, $15 at a time typically doesn't scare a tenant off, and it doesn't increase vacancy. Third, you want to improve visibility and signage. Now, I know you can only do so much with your storage property, but if people can't see it from the road, you're losing customers. A high percentage of all storage tenants do it out of convenience because it's in the trade area that they frequent. So the more visible your property is with bright colors, bright lighting, signage that pops out, that's clearly visible, that looks professional. This is going to drive more business and ultimately drive more revenue. So number four, you want to clean the facility, repair up all the little items, and simplify the maintenance process. So start with the paint. You want to get the facility looking sharp, update the lighting, make sure the fencing looks professional, and make sure there's easy access in the facility where there's an automated gate or some type of security that allows the tenants to feel that their items are secure. Ultimately, these are low-cost fixes with a high perceived value for a buyer walking in and acquiring the property. Fifth, one of the most important things is dialing in the management. Buyers want to step into a smooth, organized operation where there's clear systems and clear, accountable employees that are executing on those systems. Next is you want to have clear accounting processes so the books are clear. Buyers are going to look at the trailing 12-month or trailing 24-month, meaning the previous month's activity, month over month, comparing the numbers of the facility with the income, the expenses, and what the net operating income is. With storage, it's a seasonal business, so it fluctuates, sometimes revenue going up and down with the seasonality of the business. In many markets, summer is more busy than the winter. You want to show those trends so that year over year, you're seeing the consistency in the revenue and then ultimately the highest amount of cash flow that you can generate from the facility. If you have straightforward processes on the management, either a dedicated maintenance man and a manager on site, or if you have a management company, this is going to give the buyer a peace of mind that they're going to walk into a well-managed facility that is commanding the highest prices for their rates and that there is no inefficiency on the expenses. Buyers don't want to buy a job. Buyers want to buy an investment. And when they buy an investment, they not only want to buy a stream of cash flow, they want to buy a system of people and processes that are going to deliver that cash flow to them without a heavy need of the owner needing to be involved with the operations of the business. A well-run facility sells faster and commands a higher price than any other facility it's competing against. These steps don't require massive capital. They require clarity and consistent execution on the business plan. So I'm going to give you a real-world example. So I bought properties in the past where the seller spent years thinking they needed a full remodel and they overdid it, spending way too much money. And then in turn, they couldn't get the sales price that they wanted. This was the case on a storage facility I bought with a partner that's still my partner today in New Hampshire. Instead of going overboard on building excessive signage, on replacing the gates and the fencing, and repainting all of the existing units, we focused on collections first. And by raising the rents and just doing general cleanup on the site, we increased the visibility of the sign and started picking up the phone and providing excellent customer service for all the customers calling to rent a unit, as well as upgrading the website so people could easily rent online. After 6 months of operations, we filled the facility and then we were able to expand it and add more units. Instead of going overboard and building CMU or concrete block buildings, we went with metal buildings and were approved by the town. This saved costs by 20 to 30% on construction. And then again, we focused on marketing and filling up the units, not at the highest price, but by discounting and having concessions on the units so people were interested in leasing them up fast due to our competitive pricing. 4 years later, we built the facility out. We were able to keep our costs under $75 a foot all in for the acquisition and the development. That's tough to do nowadays with construction costs going up. But now the buyer sees the operational strength. The buyer could care less about bollards or the color of our buildings or if some of them are metal or some of them are concrete. All they care about was the stream of cash flow and the management. This is what actually drove the highest value of the property, and we were able to more than triple the value of the asset since we bought it 7-8 years ago. So let's tie it back to your goals. If your goal is to sell, then every improvement should point towards 3 outcomes. Number 1, increase the income. Number 2, lower the expenses. Number 3, increase the buyer's confidence of why they want the business because it has great management systems. So that's the formula. And when that's dialed in, you're going to attract the best buyers, shorten the timeline of the transaction, and increase the final sales price for your asset. And this is on a modest budget. So you don't need a full renovation to increase the value of your asset. Remember, you just need visibility, you need clean operations, and you need the numbers that tell the right story so you get the highest price. These are the most valued upgrades that buyers pay for. Are you interested in selling your storage facility? Or if you just want to know what it's worth in today's market, reach out to our head of self-storage here at Patriot. We'll walk you through the process, review the numbers, and even issue a free letter of intent so you can see exactly where you stand. There's no pressure, just clarity and a real valuation from people who do this every single day. Once we analyze the facility, we can also give you tips on what are the budget items that you can do to improve the value of the asset. So when it is time to sell, you get that maximum price and you don't leave money on the table. Feel free to reach out. Thanks for watching. Jeremiah Boucher. See you next time.